Why are there so many shows starring Muppets and dozens of movies too? They said they'd watch everyone and they mean it. It's something that they've got to do. So now they've pledged you a lifelong commitment. The Muppets, Matthew and Sam.
Welcome to Commitment, the podcast where two friends have vowed to watch all things Muppets. I'm Matthew Gatos.
Kind of a solemn intro that time. He didn't
Should I redo it?
He didn't say hello.
I don't ever say
it was
hello.
Great. This is a serious matter now. We're in the end of the Muppet Show, and we're taking it serious now.
I mean, I never say hello.
Yeah,
like
you
that,
do.
Though. No,
You don't?
I don't.
Hello, like
Especially
Seinfeld
not.
episode.
Hello and welcome to Commitment. Should I restart?
Oh, and I'm Sam Schultz.
Oh, okay. Apparently not. We're just good. We're going to roll into it. This week, we are discussing 3 more episodes of Season 5 of The Muppet Show that aired in February of 1981. And those are the episodes featuring guests Hal Linden, Johnny Cash, and Debbie Harry. And something we should probably talk about at the top of this episode that, by this point, is sort of old news by the time you're hearing this, but greatly affects the future of this podcast, is that HBO Max recently removed about 200 episodes of Sesame Street from their streaming service.
Why?
It seems like some taxes or financial dodging of something.
Does Sesame Street fall under that though?
Well, so they're paying to have those episodes on their platform. So they have to pay licensing fees.
They don't own Sesame Street.
Correct. They do not own the actual, property of Sesame Street. They own the distribution rights for Sesame Street.
Right.
So, basically Sesame Street episodes currently are available first on HBO and HBO Max, and then later on they air on PBS. So they are still available for free after they're on HBO. They just come out later, which most children won't care about.
Yeah.
But the big loss here is that not only is HBO Max removing a lot of stuff from their platform, which a lot of people are bummed about, especially considering that some of them are original shows that people have created for this platform that now just aren't available anywhere.
Yeah. Some of the people bummed are the people who made the thing that no one will ever see.
Yeah. And one of the main reasons we are bummed about this is because we literally just did a Sesame Street episode about season 12 of Sesame Street, where we watched 2 episodes where Big Bird went to school and Mr. Rogers came to visit Big Bird. And those were on HBO Max when we made that episode. But by the time that episode came out, they were no longer on HBO Max.
Ew. Whoops.
Yeah. And they removed a lot of the stuff before, I think, season 39, which I don't remember exactly when their agreement started.
Are we on season 13?
Yeah. So our next season we'll be talking about is season 13. Okay. And there are currently no season 13 episodes on HBO Max. We do have, I think, season 13 is the last season that is on the old school volume 3 DVD set. Oh, okay. So we should have at least one easily accessible episode and some classic cuts for us to watch for season 13. But once we get beyond season 13, we're going to have to reevaluate how we do our season, Sesame Street check-ins. Mm-hmm. Thankfully, a lot of the old Sesame Street episodes are in full on YouTube. They're not the best quality because most people have ripped them off of VHS tapes from 20 years ago, but they are out there. So we can track some of them down, hopefully some of the more important ones especially. But we can't guarantee that we're going to have as much Sesame Street to discuss because it just isn't out there in any legal capacity.
Is there nowhere to watch every extant episode of Sesame Street besides some PBS affiliates archives or something like that?
Yeah, because basically when HBO Max put these hundreds of episodes on their platform a couple years ago, that was a huge deal because a lot of these episodes had not been available in this kind of high quality format previously. And so it's one of those things where for a long time, this wasn't a thing you could do, is just go watch these Sesame Street episodes easily. And then we had it for a brief period of time, and now it's getting taken away again.
Yeah.
And there are, always newer episodes available via the Sesame Street website or their YouTube channel and HBO Max and PBS. But a lot of that is just going to be stuff from the past, like 10 seasons.
Right.
So we're a ways away from discussing season 39 at this point. So yeah, it's a bummer, and it's definitely going to change the way we talk about Sesame Street on here. But we will definitely still try to talk about Sesame Street.
Well, we started off not even planning to talk about Sesame Street, so.
But then we fell in love, Sam.
Yeah, but then I'm kind of over it. So
What? During the last episode, you were talking about how much you loved Sesame Street more than the Muppet Show.
Oh yeah, but then by the end I was like, I hate them both now.
Well, unfortunately, we have a lifelong commitment to watch everything that you currently hate.
Oh yeah.
One thing we should probably discuss before we get into this week's episodes is that if you're looking at the list of chronological Muppet Show episodes based on their release date in New York on Muppet Wiki, which again is how we watch these episodes, and that is the order we go in, you might notice that we skipped one. The last batch of Muppet Show episodes we discussed were Mac Davis, Joan Baez, and Jean-Pierre Rampal, and this batch obviously is the Hal Linden, Johnny Cash, and Debbie Harry. Between those two is an episode featuring guest Chris Langham. For a couple of reasons, we are not going to be discussing the Chris Langham episode on this episode of Commitment. One, this episode is not available on Disney Plus, and so you would have to seek it out if you want to watch it. It is available out there on the internet if you're truly a completionist and want to watch it. And the second reason we are not discussing it, and the reason that it's probably not on Disney Plus, one would have to assume, is because Chris Langham was arrested in 2005 for paying to access indecent and abusive images of children on the internet. So we just don't really feel like discussing Chris Langham too much on this show. And so, again, if you want to watch it, it is out there. You can track it down. This episode is watchable. But, yeah. So we just wanted to touch base, let you know why we're skipping that episode. I think we probably have a couple notes to say about it because we did watch it, but we're not going to be talking about it. And it's kind of a weird story because Chris Langham was a writer on The Muppet Show, and he was the only British writer on The Muppet Show. And the only reason he ended up as a guest on The Muppet Show was because Richard Pryor was supposed to be the guest on that episode and had to cancel last minute, and they were scrambling and decided that to just, toss one of their writers out on stage. And if you are somebody who can separate art from the artist and enjoy the media regardless of who the guest is, or you're trying to debate whether or not you want to go seek this out because you're a completionist, I will say I don't personally think you're missing much if you don't watch the Chris Langham episode of The Muppet Show in the grand lore of Muppet Show episodes, because it's just kind of a episode overall. And yeah, I didn't enjoy it at even the comedy of it.
Yeah. I think when we were talking about it off mic, you mentioned that he seemed like somebody who was doing his thing in spite of the Muppets. Mm-hmm. Kind of like some of the worst guests tend to do. The impulse of them is to just do their comedy routine or do their whatever, just be who they are and do not account for the fact that the Muppets are around them. That definitely felt like the case here. If you never knew this episode existed, there is not something that you are missing.
But that is it. That is all the discussion/non-discussion we are going to do about the Chris Langham episode. So Sam, tell us what we are discussing this week.
On February 7th, 1981, actor Hal Linden was the Muppets' guest, but finds himself not in the sure hands of Kermit, but in the gnarled, liver-spotted hands of Statler and Waldorf, who have been invited to produce the night's episode as Kermit and Fozzie take the night off up in their box. All of the acts Statler and Waldorf have booked to go awry somehow, at least by their standards, though frankly, they put together a pretty competent episode, all things considered, and in the end, they concede that the job is harder than it looks and promise never to heckle again, a promise which lasts only until their post-credit stinger. Standouts include a really fantastic musical number, wherein Statler and Waldorf can't agree on the theme, so it ends up being a mashup of Christmas and the 4th of July, with Hal Linden and Gonzo singing dueling holiday songs. There's also a really nice dressing room, cheer up a Muppet song bit with Robin and Hal, which I think works really well because Robin is being sincere and Hal is being sarcastic but overall supportive, and it's like not as cloyingly sweet as they usually are. It's like a nice balance. Hal Linden is an actor and musician, best known for playing the titular role in the police sitcom Barney Miller, a sleeper hit of a show that I assume was kind of like the Brooklyn Nine-Nine of its day, mostly in that they are both comedies about cops that are, in my opinion, quite boring. Hal's first show business passion, though, was as a big band leader, which he was in the 50s, and then again after Barney Miller ended, which is so weird. He also, as Kermit mentions, was a stage actor throughout his career on and off, too. Then on February 14th, 1981, country superstar Johnny Cash comes to The Muppet Show in an event so big that the episode is simulcast over radio via country station WHOG. Unfortunately for Kermit, when WHOG's star DJ Big Tiny Tall Saddles shows up, he immediately takes over the show via intimidation and violence. Tiny replaces the Muppets with his own country fried acts and generally is just horrible, inspiring Kermit to stand up for his friends for once in his life, and inspiring Scooter to use his trademark guile to trick Big Tiny off of the stage long enough for Kermit to regain control. Standout moments include the plot. I really liked the culture clash and the people who'd come out and sing the call letters. I thought was pretty funny. There's like a little choir that would go WHOG. And Big Tiny Tall Saddles is on par, in my opinion, with Doc Hopper as like the worst Muppet villain, at least that we've seen so far. He was making me so mad. I hated that guy.
So not worst as in like written worst.
No,
but
worst
as
like in the most evil.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's a strong stance against Doc Hopper to be the worst.
I love Doc Hopper. I feel like they're like on the same level.
Truly monstrous.
They don't fight a lot of villains. Like Kermit's usually the meanest person in the thing, but Big Tiny, bad guy.
Big Tiny tears you down with his words.
Well, and also violence. He'll wrap a microphone stand around your head, you know?
That's fair.
He has it all.
Yeah.
And then Johnny Cash singing Egg-Sucking Dog to a horrified Rolf was also, in my opinion, an all-time great Muppet skit. As was Piggy and Johnny singing the closing medley together was also very nice. Johnny Cash was Johnny Cash, a country musician with rockabilly sensibility that quickly became a household name with the crossover hit I Walk the Line, and basically his star never stopped rising for his entire life. Around this time in 1981, he was like 3 comebacks into his career and performing with country supergroup The Highwaymen, which also featured Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, and contender for worst Muppet Show guest ever, Chris Christopherson. Finally, on February 21st, 1981, the Muppets go from old down-home country to the nastiest, raunchiest of punk, as Debbie Harry, the most punk act of all time, of the band Blondie, is their guest. And Robin has brought along his whole Frog Scout troop to meet her. They are also apparently working on getting their punk merit badges, which Debbie helps them out with, and they make her an honorary Frog Scout in return. And a bunch of other crap happens too. Standout moments include, Animal murders one of the Frog Scouts, which is fun. And the Scouts overall are pretty cute. Gonzo also has a nice little mini plot involving Quango, which I kind of thought was fun to see him interacting with somebody who wasn't a main cast member. But this episode didn't have a ton of what I would call standout moments exactly. Debbie Harry is the lead singer of the band Blondie, which had a ton of hits that still play ad nauseum on the radio to this day, like Call Me and Heart of Glass and One Way or Another, among several others. Harry was from New Jersey and ended up in the New York music scene in the late 60s, ultimately ending up co-founding Blondie in 1974. And by 1978, they were like a super big worldwide sensation. And in 1981, Blondie was on a break just after releasing their 5th studio album, which also just happened to have the first song with rapping on it to reach number 1 in the US, which is kind of cool and weird. And the band would formally break up the next year in 1982. And nowadays, Debbie Harry has reformed Blondie, and they're still putting out albums, and she's done everything from writing to acting between 1981 and now. She's a true elder statesman of music at this point. And nothing interesting happened in this period of time.
It's worth noting, too, that her first solo album was about to come out in the summer of 1981
Right.
after this episode aired. So not only were Blondie like on a break, but then also she was starting her solo career at this time.
Yeah,
So it was like a perfect time for her to be on The Muppet Show.
Yeah.
The only thing I had in my notes that happened during this era in February 1981 is that after 5 months of shooting in the UK on The Great Muppet Caper, the Henson team returned to the US to finish it up because they had to go to Albuquerque to film the hot air balloon sequence.
Oh. Why Albuquerque?
I think it's because they have a giant hot air balloon festival there.
That's what I was wondering, yeah.
Yeah. And so that's, if you want hot air balloons, you go to Albuquerque,
Okay.
as they say.
Yeah, it's on the license plate.
It's a very long license plate. It's like a European license plate.
Yeah.
But yeah, that happened on February 1st, 1981 in Jim's journal. But that's the only other thing. They are wrapping up the Great Muppet Caper.
Okay. Take a well-deserved rest, I'm sure is what he'll do, right?
Doesn't seem like that's something Jim Henson is capable of doing. It seems like he's immediately going to be like, so how about this Dark Crystal, guys? But getting into the first episode we are watching and discussing this week, Hal Linden. Sam, what'd you rate this episode?
3.5 stars.
You know what, Sam? I gave it 3.5 stars.
Wow. He's a 3.5 star kind of guy.
I think he is a 4 or 5 star kind of guy.
He actually was really good.
I don't think he's around enough in this episode, and there are some stinkers in this episode that bring it down to an average of 3.5.
Yeah.
Because I think overall, he's great, and I think this episode is a great highlight for some characters that we don't normally get to highlight that often, like Statler and Waldorf. We have never seen this much Statler and Waldorf in an episode.
No, one thing I wish we had seen is more Kermit and Fozzie being Statler and Waldorf too. I wish that they had been up in the box heckling the acts. I think that would have been fun. It was like a big missed opportunity, I thought. And also that the show could have gone more wrong, because the show just went normal wrong, which I guess is a lesson learned by them either way. That
Right, like these are mix-ups that
be better than they already do.
Yeah, these are mix-ups that could have happened on any other week of the Muppet Show. They would not have been surprising. But to start off, we have I gotta say it, Sam. I don't love Pops.
I kind of hate Pops. I miss Scooter so much.
Yeah, the gag of who are you? I don't know that person. Like, just is...
I can't believe they do it every freaking time also.
Yeah, I think that's the thing for me, is like there was at least some variety in Scooter's.
Yeah, he could introduce any number of jokes, and also is kind of just like a dick, so he could have his own various things too, but... Or like set up the plot. You don't even see Pops. You literally never see Pops outside of this.
I think we do maybe a couple of times in some upcoming episodes. But again, not enough to warrant him being the beginning of every single episode.
One of the guests is going to be like, oh yeah, Pops let me in. And Kermit's going to be like,
who?
Who's Pops?
He still works here?
There's an old man in our what? Where now?
I thought we kept our coats in there. But yeah, obviously this episode opens the same way as all the other episodes of Pops going, I don't know who you are. Oh, now that you said it, I know who you are. That's kind of the joke every time.
Yeah, and it's a very sweaty setup. They're getting sweatier and sweatier.
Mm-hmm. But thankfully, then after that, we get to see Gonzo doing something to a banana.
He doesn't blow it. Does he blow it?
I think he attempts to blow on the top of this partially peeled banana, and you hear a noise that doesn't sound like a horn. It sounds like someone in distress, because this banana is alive.
Obviously, all bananas are alive.
So it's like Gonzo grabbed the top of this guy's head and just started blowing on it really hard.
Are all bananas alive in this universe?
I feel like that could be dangerous for Quango. I feel like Quango...
Can you eat a banana without committing a mortal sin?
I think that might be too heavy of a question for me to ponder right now, this early in the morning.
It's too early. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I do like the concept of Kermit and Fozzie in the box, like you said. It should have been there should have been more of it.
Fozzie would have taken this opportunity to really lay it on to the people on stage, I think.
Well, I think he does, and Kermit holds him back.
Yeah.
Because the very first thing we get in this episode is Kermit starts to explain the setup for the episode by saying, the two gentlemen who usually sit up here, Fozzie interjects, says, have died.
Yeah, right.
And so the very first joke Fozzie wants to make at their expense is that they're dead. They're gone forever. Thank goodness. But no, the concept is that Statler and Waldorf have, just said too many times, we could do this better than you. And so Kermit's testing them.
And giving them a shot. They have proven definitively once that they can put together a hell of an opening number. Right? They did like that chorus line opening number. Remember that?
Yeah, and they also did their weird vaudeville number that one time, which wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But then Hal Linden, is his charming self, comes out on stage to try to comprehend what the hell's going on here at this
kind of
show.
A weird move on his part to do it on stage, but...
I mean, it's kind of a weird move for Kermit to do this and not tell him.
That's true.
Like, Kermit, again, not being great at his job, not telling the guest star that he's not going to be in charge this week.
Well, when you're a producer, sometimes you forget stuff. There's a lot of stuff to remember.
I do, it's curious, Fozzie says something like, oh, this is what it's like up here. Mm-hmm. But he was like just in that box like 2 or 3 episodes ago.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about sweaty premises, the idea that Fozzie's like, ooh, what's it like up here? I'm like, you were just there, dude.
Well, you'd have to put this one first in the canonical watch order, I guess.
Yeah, when we do our master list of the Muppet Show, the order you should really watch, the machete version. I do think the writing on this section in particular, and just the beginning of this episode, feels really polished and it feels a little fresh. Like, I don't know who they had writing this one, if it was like a different team of people working on it or something, but something about this just feels a little bit more... I don't know, like final, like not as rough as some of the other episodes. Even if I maybe liked some of those episodes more than this one, I feel like this particular section of writing is very strong.
I felt similar about the dressing room part too, where it's just like something a little bit different.
And I think that's a lot of it is Hal Linden. I think he just has like some charisma to him that he's able to carry a lot of these things. We'll get to it, but later on when he's doing the musical number, some of the facial expressions he's making throughout that musical number are doing a lot of the work.
Very strange, man.
But before we get to that, we have another musical number starring Jerry and the Atrix, who, obviously are Statler and Waldorf's favorite band.
Just scoping out some old babes.
Yeah, they're out of the attic, and they're on stage now. This makes sense to me that Statler and Waldorf would choose to open the show with some other old people.
I guess so, yeah.
But noticeably in this, Jerry has been rebuilt and is no longer a cello player in the group, no longer has a weird, lumpy green face, but looks more like an actual old lady.
She looks much less alarming now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this was fine. This hits the same, the same notes as the babies and Jerry and the Atrix have always hit.
Yeah, they sing.
I'm a little surprised that they would like this one, actually. I don't know what Statler and Waldorf like.
Yeah, Jerry and the Atrix are performing Who Put the Bomp in the Bomp, the Bomp, a Bomp, that song. Again, it's sort of the same thing as it has been previously where, hey, they don't sing real good, do they?
Yeah. So maybe Statler and Waldorf's problem is that everybody's too young on stage? Is that the main issue?
Jerry is wearing a button in this, but I think it says CIA. But it also, it says CIA and then there's some words underneath it. So CIA, stands for something, and I'm guessing not Central Intelligence Agency. But I couldn't figure out, what the CIA reference could have been at the time. But I'm curious what it was.
I think it's when people have the shirt that says FBI and it's Federal Bra Inspector. Is that what you're thinking it is?
I wasn't, but now I'm hoping that's what it is. Codpiece Inspection Agency.
That would make sense,
Yeah.
Kind of the gender flipped version of Federal Bra Inspector.
Yeah. Codpiece was the most tasteful thing I could think of there.
Oh yeah, okay. Now thinking about it a little harder.
But then we are backstage with Statler and Waldorf, who are already scrambling a little bit. They're worried that they're making the same decisions that Kermit would have made, which they see as a bad thing, even if the show turns out good. So Statler and Waldorf are going to try and bring some class to this episode. They have booked the Berlin National Opera Company on the show, but they didn't show up, obviously. The Salzburg Sauerkraut Singers show up instead, and this is the first moment where I was like, uh-oh, I had high hopes for this episode from the first 5-10 minutes, and then this happens, and I'm like, you know what? This might be a middling episode.
I guess this wasn't long enough to bother me.
Salzburg Sauerkraut singers come out. They're going to perform, whatever you want to call it, drinking song, and they have a bunch of sauerkraut on some plates that they're, tossing
It's
around.
kind of funny that they're spilling it all around, because then they like lower their plates and the sauerkraut's refilled. So just imagining like somebody down there with like big mitts full of shredded lettuce. And I always like an act that ends with Gonzo being like, oh no, they're much better than me. I think that's kind of a funny button.
Right, when everyone else hates what's happening on stage,
Yeah.
and Gonzo's like, oh my God, these artists, they've truly ascended. But yeah, for me, I was just like, oh, okay, that was kind of nothing. But thankfully, it is saved because we are going backstage now, and Link Hogthrob is freaking out because the show is going to be canceled.
Did this feel weirdly pointed to you? Like,
yeah.
like it was
because he
referencing
says,
something.
well, it sounds to me like cancel culture. Run amok at the Muppet Show, Sam.
That is what it sounds like to us.
Yeah.
But I feel like back then it was like a meta joke about the Muppet Show being canceled, or the what's the Hal Linden show that I just
Barney
said?
Miller?
Barney Miller being canceled or something. Just seemed like they were saying canceled a lot.
It
But
did
Marty Miller still had a couple of years left.
Yeah, and the Muppet Show they chose to end that in season 5. So
Yeah.
maybe it is this idea that, people don't necessarily understand the way TV works back then. There wasn't as much
Yeah.
access to the information. And so maybe it's the Muppets making the joke of like we know our show is ending, but if we make this joke about it being canceled, then I don't know.
Right.
Like it's sort of like how like the plots of either it's a pirate ship, it's taken out to sea, or they've had a few episodes that we've talked about that could be the last episode of a series. And so maybe this is just that kind of joke again. But I don't know. For me, it's really hard to not hear them saying like, "Oh my God, we've been canceled. They canceled me," and I'm like,
And Link
wow.
saying that makes perfect sense.
"Oh
as
yeah,
well.
if any Muppet's gonna get
Most
canceled
likely
immediately."
to be canceled, yeah.
But basically, this whole episode backstage is a lot of chaos where a character will say something and it immediately is disproven by another character. In this instance, they're telling Hal Linden his act has been canceled because there's too much sauerkraut on the stage and everything's just going too chaotically. But then immediately Beauregard's like, "Don't worry, guys, I got you."
Yeah.
And he cleaned up all the sauerkraut very quickly. I'm guessing he just shoveled it into his gob. Beaker just had a push broom and shoved it right into Beauregard's unhinged Freddy Krueger mouth.
The problem is that I can picture that so clearly in my head.
Oh, look, now I'm picturing it. Nope, we gotta move on. Because it is time for a holiday number. It's whichever holiday you'd like to choose out of these two. It's a 4th of July and Christmas musical medley set in a small town around a gazebo. Hal Linden comes out celebrating America when he's interrupted by Gonzo and some reindeer chickens.
I think the main thing that struck me is that these are weird holidays to have a holiday number about if it's not near either of those holidays, which is clearly not, because they can't decide which one to do.
Well, they produced this episode. They filmed it around July of 1980. So they might have been just thinking about 4th of July. But yes, it doesn't come out in the UK until January 1981, and then New York, February of 1981. So you would have missed the Christmas and not close enough to 4th of July for that to make sense.
Yeah.
But according to them, these are Statler and Waldorf's favorite holidays.
Sure. Whichever one likes Christmas, I could see them having like the kind of house that always has like, like some old people just like have a billion Christmas trees in their house.
Yeah, and it's up all year round.
Yeah.
I think this works really, really well.
This was very fun.
And before when they're introducing it, Statler and Waldorf do the little Kermit arm flail yay thing,
Yeah.
which again, everyone has to do if they are introducing a number on the Muppet Show. But they do their own sad version of it.
I think what's occurring to me right now is that the best episode of the Muppet Show is Muppet Vision 3D. And that anything that comes close to Muppet Vision 3D is something that I enjoy. And this
Interesting.
is exactly the same as the end of Muppet Vision 3D, basically.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm excited to get to Muppet Vision 3D because obviously I think we'll have to watch a bootleg thing on
to Florida
YouTube.
and ride on it.
Yeah,
It's too bad it's
well-
not in California anymore. That would be way easier.
Yeah, we go there more often.
Yeah.
for
But
work
unfortunately,
things.
we're going to have to go to Florida.
Yeah, we have to. Maybe we can start like seeding the idea that Complexly can hold their next retreat in
Disney
Florida.
World.
At least near enough to Disney World that we can sneak out for a
At
little
Disney
bit.
MGM Studios. That's where our retreat will be.
Yeah, just like tucked away in the corner over here. Like we're gonna have it in Star Wars land.
But this is where the facial expressions, is this the one where you're like
Yeah, he's really trying to commit to like getting through the bit, but he also is a little frustrated by Gonzo. So he keeps trying to like ramp up his performance of his like patriotic songs, and at one point he disappears and comes back dressed as Uncle Sam. And so I just like this fiction of, we've seen a lot of times the celebrity guest be upset by somebody and sort of try to fight with them or try to like
or give up.
Yes, or give up and walk away. And this feels like the perfect balance of I'm going to stay here and I'm going to defeat you through committing to
I'm
this
fully
bit.
committed to this show.
Even
it's going to
more.
be a good episode of the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
Gonzo, despite you. He's really taking it very seriously before he's dressed like Uncle Sam, too. He's almost got kind of a menacing energy with how he is singing the Yankee Doodle Dandy at the beginning.
And I think that's what I like about him in general in this episode is just how seriously he seems to be taking it overall. Like he sees this as almost like his big shot. Like I have to be here. I am a guest of this show. I have to do a great job.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I really enjoy him as a guest, even if there's some of this episode that it sort of lands flat for me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that this was definitely the highlight of the episode, this 4th of July Christmas number, because you get a glittery Gonzo Santa outfit. You get you get reindeer chickens. You get angel penguins that show up near the end.
And a medley of these different holiday songs that match really well. I was impressed.
I was actually, very surprised when they would transition into a new song that I didn't even really, it wasn't an awkward transition. They did a pretty good job of melding all those together.
I almost wonder if somebody in the writer's room was like singing something like that, like Yankee Doodle Dandy that transitioned into a Christmas song. Then they were like, aha.
Next up is the UK spot, which Statler and Waldorf are introducing, saying that they tried to get a hold of the Beatles, but hadn't heard back from any of them, which is a good joke. But this episode also came out just like a couple months after John Lennon got shot.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So obviously they filmed it before that, but it did come out right after that. So thankfully, they do not call John out by name, but they do say, oh, just talk to Ringo. Oh, yeah, you got back to us? Yeah, he said no.
I wonder what they would have done if they had said John just called. Luckily, Ringo's the funniest name you can say.
Yeah, if you're going to pick a funny Beatle, is Ringo. Guy just posting feet pics on Twitter these days. But then we get a performance of Obla-Dee, Obla-Da, which again, just amazed at how many Beatles songs we get on the Muppet Show. And that
Disney kept them in the thing.
Yeah, I have to imagine some more of these were cut out back when these were released on DVD because they probably just couldn't afford to do that.
Yeah.
But this one is interesting in that they are joined by a pack of dogs, and it features maybe the worst British accents we've ever heard on the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
This is Jerry Nelson and Richard Hunt playing just some random British men singing Obla-Dee in just the worst
kind of
British
unbearable.
accents.
Yeah.
It's already not a great song. And when you just have two people with bad British accents just singing it for a long time with not a lot happening,
For a long time, they do the whole thing.
it's a little taxing.
You don't have to do the whole thing.
But thankfully, Baskerville and Afghan Hound and some of the other random dogs do show up.
Yeah, I like seeing dogs. I don't get why they were there, but that's fine.
Then we have a scene that, if you're watching on Disney Plus, will be a little different than if you watch the clip that's cut out somewhere on YouTube, because we have Hal Linden and Robin the Frog backstage in the dressing room. This is the cheer up number that Sam alluded to earlier, because Robin the Frog's number has been canceled and Hal has to cheer him up. Robin speculates that things would be better if I ruled the world, which is a real Anakin Skywalker energy here from Robin. But we don't get to see that evil turn quite yet. And if you're watching on Disney Plus, they're just talking about what they would do if they ruled the world. And Gonzo jumps in and says, if I ruled the world, clothing would be edible. And it's a very weird, sudden ending to this scene.
It almost kind of works.
Yeah. It
but
just
it
feels
is very strange.
It works, and like they edited it very well.
Yeah.
But it feels like a very useless scene if you just watch that version. What's cut out is Robin and Hal singing If We Ruled the World as a duet before Gonzo jumps in and talks about edible clothing. And this is a song that we saw before because Kermit sang it while sitting on top of the
Perched
Earth.
atop the planet Earth.
Yeah, back in his double collar days.
It felt more sinister when he was singing it as well.
Yeah, because it kind of came out of nowhere, too, and he was, like, trying to direct a choir, and then after that, he was like, well, if I ruled the world, life would be so much better for everyone. But yeah, that was back in Kermit's double collar days in 1975 on the Julie Andrews 1-to-1 special, which is the weird adoption special. But definitely worth seeking out that duet with Hal and Robin if you just watch this one on Disney+.
Yeah, it's really cute. And Robin calls himself cute but ruthless at one point in it.
I like, too, that one of his ideas for if he ruled the world, what he would do is outlaw wide-wheeled sports tires.
Because it's dangerous for little frogs.
Yeah. Then we have something that I thought for sure was going to earn us a content warning here. But then it pivots real fast. Because Statler and Waldorf come out and introduce Indira Mahajira to sing a medley of Urdu ditties.
Yep.
Which was not...
Alarming thing to hear from your 70s puppet show.
From your 70-year-old puppets.
Yeah.
the oldest, whitest men on your show being like, oh, we got an Indian woman here to sing some songs for you. It's like, oh, this isn't going to go well. And, you know, in the context of the show, it doesn't go well because Indira Mahajira is not there. Instead, it's Miss Piggy, who seems to have just taken her place to come in and sing just an old-fashioned girl. And it, you know, the setting is still India, the outfits are still India, the song has, like, Indian music sort of layered into it, while not being an Indian song, so it's interesting.
Pigs being culturally insensitive again.
Not surprising on the Muppet Show, or especially when the pigs are around, but, yeah, better than it could have been, but still not great.
And kind of nothing. I think I zoned out a little bit in this one.
Yeah, no, and unfortunately, I feel like probably not in the public zeitgeist, but I feel like on the Muppet Show this season, Piggy's star is dwindling just a little bit.
Maybe they just got sick of her. I don't know. But you're right.
I feel like
she
they just
didn't even
haven't
have her own dressing room anymore. Because like last season, they had that pink fluffy, like that pink ribbony star on it. Not anymore, though.
I feel like they haven't been highlighting her quite as much this season.
Yeah.
Maybe they like purposefully chose to just pull back. Maybe we're also going to see 10 more episodes or whatever this season that all feature Piggy. Who knows?
Maybe they knew that Great Muppet Caper was like a Miss Piggy movie almost. And they were like, well, people are going to be getting enough of Miss Piggy.
Yeah. And then something is introduced that I think maybe would have worked throughout the episode if they would have introduced it a little earlier.
Totally.
Beauregard decides to start testing some trap doors. And as we've talked about before, or at least I've talked about before on this podcast, I love a trap door on the Muppet Show.
Okay. I think you meant in real life.
I mean,
Weird.
I haven't encountered any in real life, but, you know.
I'm really scared of them because in TV shows and movies and stuff, when people fall through trapdoors, they always break their legs. You know what I'm talking about?
I mean, if you would, probably.
I know, so I'm very scared of them.
If a door opened up underneath you right now and you fell into the earth, I guess. I think you're in your basement.
I'm in the basement, yeah. That would be really scary.
And I also feel like there's sometimes the falling is a lot smoother than it would actually be in real life. Because I feel like if a door opened up underneath you, you're probably going to bounce off of that or hit your head on something.
That's what
as
I
well.
always think about. Yeah.
But in the world of the Muppets,
they don't have bones.
They don't got bones. And also, it's just really cute to see, you know, Jim Henson or whoever have to go and like pull their arm down out of frame to imagine that this old man actually fall through a trapdoor. So Beauregard has decided to test the backstage trapdoors, which
doesn't
for some
seem
reason
like something that would exist.
It shouldn't exist. I don't feel like they have trapdoors on every square foot of the floor, but apparently
it's like Kermit's on his Mr. Burns shit. He's like, I'm gonna need this.
But he has one by his own workspace. Like
that's where people are always bothering him the most. You know.
But Statler and Waldorf tell Beauregard to, don't test the backstage trap doors anymore. Beauregard, what are you thinking? And so, of course, what does he do? He decides, I'll test the onstage trap doors.
You have such a good Beauregard voice.
I feel like it's not a hard one to do.
Yeah, maybe not. I can't do any voices, so I'm just always impressed.
So we get a delightful musical number here where Hal and the Electric Mayhem are performing When the Saints Go Marching In. And it's great. And for some reason, they fired Trumpet Girl, maybe.
That's what I was thinking. Who's now Trombone Girl.
Yeah. And just
And
got
there's somebody
some
playing
old man.
trombone.
Just pulled some old man off the street.
Justice
Play
for
trombone.
Girl.
Yeah, I feel bad for Trumpet Girl because she got replaced by Lips, and now she got replaced by a random old man on an instrument she wasn't even named for.
It would be less weird if she actually had gotten completely replaced, but she is still there.
Yeah.
She's just not invited to participate in this particular instance. I thought this was very good too. I totally agree with you that it should have been introduced earlier. And also, it seemed like they were really getting out of those trap doors really fast, I thought.
Yeah, there wasn't really any consequences to the trapdoors happening. I was expecting they would fall through the trapdoor, and little by little, the song would start to fall apart.
Yeah, and it
eventually,
would just be him playing his clarinet, and then
yeah, this song sounds bad now. But instead, they just are in the trapdoor for 2 seconds, and then pop back up, and they're like, "Oh, that was weird."
Weird implementation of the gag, but still fun.
And fun because I did not know anything about Hal Linden before watching this episode, so I didn't realize he actually plays clarinet.
Yeah.
And he had
a whole different career before he was in. I don't even know why he was in Barney Miller. He just figured it out. He just on a whim, I think, auditioned for it, sort of.
I mean, I'm imagining professional clarinet player is maybe not the most,
Lucrative
well-paying.
career?
Yeah, lucrative career.
But he was a well-known big band leader, I think.
Huh. Maybe Big Band was just going out of style around this time, too. And he was just
makes sense.
you know
it
what?
It was 1981.
Yeah.
So
people weren't clamoring for the big band era.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And now on Valentine's Day, 1981, it's time for the romantic crooning of Johnny Cash.
He's got some romantic songs.
Apparently, Johnny Cash's son, who was 10 at the time, John Carter Cash, was the one who convinced Johnny Cash to go on the show. Well, June Carter Cash, his wife, actually said, John Carter picks all of his father's shows. When Johnny said he'd been invited to do the Muppet Show, John Carter was absolutely adamant. He had to do it. We're all fans of the show, but John Carter is devoted. He has at least 50 puppets of his own at home and runs his own little theater.
What?
John Carter Cash, apparently, almost a Muppeteer.
What's he do? What does he do?
I think he's into music now. He's producing a bunch of country music.
You think he still's got a bunch of puppets secretly in his house, though?
Still got 50 puppets?
Yeah.
That's a lot of puppets.
At this point, he probably has hundreds and hundreds of puppets.
He could buy all the puppets he wanted. Thankfully, John Carter did get to actually participate in this episode of The Muppet Show because during the Ghost Riders in the Sky number, John Carter got to serve as a puppeteer for one of the ghost puppets in the chorus.
That's so cute.
Yeah. I didn't read that until after I watched it, so I didn't go back and see if there's one ghost that's maybe not doing as good of a job.
Or is
there's a small boy.
Really short. Yeah.
Yeah. Just the head peeking up. But there's some nice notes about Johnny Cash being on The Muppet Show because he was also quoted as saying, I just love this show for the joy it gives everyone, but forced to choose favorites, I'd go for Animal and Miss Piggy. They're the irresistible force and the immovable object, but don't ask me which one is what.
What? Does somebody write that statement for him?
It sounds like it.
Yeah. Miss Piggy. Who the fuck's Miss Piggy?
He talks to Miss Piggy in this episode.
Face. No, he doesn't remember who she is the instant he leaves the building. No?
You don't forget Miss Piggy.
I don't know, man. You better get the fuck out of my face. He's got a gun.
It's worth noting, too, that Johnny Cash also did appear on Sesame Street a few times, including when we watched him perform with Oscar, where he sings Nasty Dan.
Oh, yeah, right. Maybe he does love the Muppets.
I think he's one of those guys who would say, if you asked him about his time with the Muppets, he'd say, "Oh, I get a kick out of those guys."
Yeah, that's true. He said that about everybody, though.
Yeah. Even people he doesn't remember. It's like, hey, do you remember you met my cousin Charlie? Oh, yeah, I get a real kick out of Charlie. Want to hear me play a song? Johnny Cash does, when he shows up at the show, seem to know Pops, which shows to me that he does watch this show.
Or knows him independently.
They're
in
just
real
old
life.
friends.
Yeah.
He knew Pops before he got the job at the Muppet Show.
Pops, you son of a bitch. How you been?
I thought I told you never to come back here. We have a little cowboy Kermit at the beginning of this episode. He is dressed up to host this episode in what seems like a Spirit Halloween kids-sized cowboy costume.
It could almost be like sexy cowboy costume, you know? It would just look normal size on him, but like on a sexy lady, it would just be like very tiny.
It's just really funny to me that we have such a convincing cowboy Kermit in the Muppet movie.
Yeah.
And then a year later, they're like, I don't know, put this on him.
This hat, this tiny, tiny hat.
Yeah. Barely looks like a cowboy hat in the context.
I bet it's hard to find cowboy-y stuff in London, though. You know?
But we have the WHOG singers come out and do some of the most beautiful singing we've maybe ever heard on the Muppet
I
Show.
love these guys. There's something about this whole concept. I think it reminds me of the Country Bear Jamboree, which I think is like one of the best places in the entire universe. I think is why it's like, oh my God, I would love to be at the Muppet Show if it was country western themed.
Well, not just country western themed, but like you said earlier, simulcast to a radio station. The whole point of this is that they are putting on a show in a hee-haw kind of style. They only use one set for the entire show, which is the, I think, one and only time they've ever done that on the Muppet Show. Aside from the backstage, obviously. But the onstage set is the same for every single thing, unfortunately, for one reason. But we'll get to that. But yeah, the concept of this is great. Like, I think this is just so... they've turned the Muppet Show country multiple times. And I feel like this is the most they've committed to it and the best version of it that they've pulled off.
I don't know. Does the train station count?
Ooh, I guess...
They were pretty. I think they like turning the Muppet Show country.
Yes, for sure. I think there's just been times when they announce a theme for the episode and they don't really stick to the theme of the episode.
Yeah, but even when they didn't stick to the theme very well with the Alice's Restaurant guy, Arlo Guthrie, is that who that was?
Yeah,
they still built like a whole freaking house for some reason.
That's true. Oh, I forgot to ask, Sam. What did you rate this episode?
Oh yeah, shit, I didn't rate it. I'll rate it 4.5 stars.
Wow. I gave this one also 3.5 stars.
I gave it, also the last one.
Because the last one was 3.5 stars. This one...
I thought you just weren't listening to me.
No, I'm always listening, Sam. Except the times when I'm not. But this time I was. And I rated it 3.5 stars, just like I rated the last episode 3.5 stars. Right. Because for me, I love the concept. I like Johnny Cash. There was just something about it that didn't stick to my ribs when we were watching it, but we'll get into that, I'm sure. The opening number is maybe one of those things that didn't really stick with me that well. We have some, what Muppet Wiki just calls a group of hillbillies singing the Martins and the Coys, because it's about the old family rivalry between the Martins and the Coys.
They're always feuding and fighting.
Always feuding and fighting. And, of course, they just start shooting guns at each other. Just a lot of random guns going off in this episode.
Yeah.
Both on stage and backstage.
I think it's fun when a Muppet shoots a gun. You don't like it?
I think it's just... It becomes, like weirdly, really violent. Like, a cannonball to the chest is one thing, but the moment one of them has a pistol, I'm just a little oh, okay, now I'm afraid of you.
That's true.
Imagine, Muppet Vision 3D, and instead of launching someone out of a cannon or whatever like that, they just point a gun at the screen in that old cowboy film, but it's Gonzo.
Because the Swedish Chef does have a gun in that at the end. I think he's got a blunderbuss and a cannon.
Blunderbuss, again, not as scary
as
an actual revolver.
That feels more like blunt force that a Muppet could absorb, but the piercing power of a pistol, that seems like it would go right through a Muppet.
Yeah. Well, this opening number does take place on the Country Barn set that will be featured throughout the entire episode, and we should mention the beginning of this episode, Disney Plus, there will be a stereotype content warning because on this set, throughout the entire episode, is a giant Confederate flag.
Very big.
Very big. Not gonna miss that one. You're gonna see it if you're watching this episode. Yeah, it's a weird run-in where there's also a bunch of Confederate flags in the Muppet movie when they're at the county fair walking around, which,
If you went to a real county fair in Arkansas or wherever they are, that's probably what it would be like.
I mean, I remember even going to county fairs in Illinois, like in the 90s, and there was a lot of Confederate flags on sale at the fair, which is strange for so many reasons.
Yeah, I don't think the real at least in broader culture, the real focus on this is bad for these reasons. The case was not the case was there, but I think it took a while for people to pay attention to that case being made, because I feel also in the 90s they were freaking everywhere more than they were just. I remember them being everywhere. You got stickers out of sticker machines and stuff,
Yeah, you'd get a glittery Confederate flag sticker. People were just trying to sell it as it means rebel.
Yeah.
We got Star Wars logos for that. You can retire this one.
Yeah, and even those are a little bit why do you have this? I was thinking the Empire ones. When people have Empire stickers, I'm always kind of what? What are you trying to say?
You realize those are the
exactly?
bad guys, right?
Yeah.
But now it's time to meet Big Tiny Tall Saddle Sam, the shiniest
great
Muppet
name.
who ever done did live.
And the best named Muppet ever as well.
It almost feels like a Sesame Street character, like a Nobel Prize level name, a Big Tiny Tall Saddle. Forgetful Jones. It's definitely one of those higher level Muppet names that we don't normally get.
Yeah. I kind of wish Jerry Nelson had a more permanent cowboy character on the show. I like it when he does these kind of voices.
Yeah, but I don't want that to be Big Tiny Tall Saddle.
No, he's too evil and vile.
He does look distressingly like an Animorphs human version of old Skyball paint.
If he was he's a werehorse, and that's the horse he turns into.
Yeah, he's got the same red eyes, the same kind of color skin as the horse, and so
Very weird.
And he even mentions at one point that he has old paint, that is his horse.
Yeah.
And so apparently he does.
You are old paint, my friend.
That's just my headcanon, I think, for Big Tiny Tall Saddle, is that he is a werehorse.
That's his horrible secret. Yeah.
That's why he's got all those shiny clothes to distract from his horse-like features.
I also love his scooter, that little weasel that he has with him,
Yeah, Billy Boy is this little Muppet brat played by Steve Whitmire, just running around. And he's a nice little, I think you said it right, the scooter to the Big Tiny Tall Saddle.
He's very competent, though. He knows how to wire up all that radio stuff.
He's also pretty much the same puppet that we see face off against the devil, and the devil went down to Georgia.
Oh, right.
So they have used him for a Southern boy puppet before. They just added some big old clown hair to him this time.
Yeah.
There's a couple distressing moments during that backstage moment when we first meet Big Tiny Tall Saddle. At one point, Fozzie just clotheslines himself on the radio wire that's being set up backstage. And it looks like it would actually really hurt Fozzie.
Yeah, I think he's kind of I have to go home or something, isn't he?
I think he is affected by it, at least, as opposed to other times when we see Muppets bounce off of surfaces and just be like, I'm
real.
good. Yeah. But also, we get just a lot of disrespect for Kermit, where they say, I think he's called Gonzo the Frog. And they just continue to call him Gonzo throughout the rest of the episode.
He also screams at Rolf at one point. I don't remember when he does that, but Big Tiny Tall Saddle screams at Rolf.
He is a hateable villain. They do at one point in this show make the Muffin Show joke once again, which I think is the third time we've maybe heard a mix-up of the Muffin Muppet Show joke.
I think this is the first time that Kermit's ever said it's the Muppet Theater as well. He's called it.
That can't possibly be true.
I think it might be.
I'm going to challenge you on that one.
Well,
Fact checkers.
We watch every single episode.
All right, let's pause, go watch all the episodes, and we'll come back and let people know. Then we get Johnny Cash. He's here to perform Riders in the Sky, which, is good. That's, I think, part of my, review of this episode is just Johnny Cash. Pretty good. Gonzo does come in riding a cow, and you can see the joy on Johnny Cash's face as he watches Gonzo ride in on a cow. He's still singing his song, but he's smiling in a way of just like, as we said earlier, he really gets a kick out of these guys.
Yeah, he does. You're right.
Like, look at that monster on a cow. I love that guy.
He does seem like very gregarious and like happy to be there, which is a little surprising because I feel like country guys can either be like Chris Christopherson and Arlo Guthrie, who are like, this is stupid, or they could just be like, hell yeah.
I think he benefits from having this 10-year-old son who was super into the Muppets because if he's doing this for his kid, essentially, he's just pretending he's playing with his kid probably, or doing this a lot for his kid. So even when he first comes in and he's talking to Pops, he makes some like really big animated faces to the camera where I'm like, I didn't know
maybe
Johnny
his son
Cash's...
is standing right there like, wow.
Yeah. I didn't know Johnny Cash's face could move that way.
My favorite Muppet. Yeah, there's a picture on Muppet Wiki of his face that looks completely bonkers that you should look at on this episode.
Where he's just like shrugging like, eh?
Yeah.
I feel like you could show that picture to somebody out of context and they wouldn't know that was Johnny Cash.
I have no idea who that was, yeah.
I did like when the ghost chickens and ghost Gonzo come in at the end on their cows. Gonzo has a hole for his nose.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, his nose is just sticking out of his ghost sheet, which just shows, once again, Gonzo's disguises, always ruined by his nose.
Yeah, tough. It's tough.
There's also a couple moments in there where they do a really good job of making it seem like Gonzo doesn't have control over his cow.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like the super old Sam and Friends sketch we watched, where like the two cowboys just can't like get their horses to like park like they want them to park, and it was like that where it tricks you into thinking that like somebody else is controlling the cow underneath of Gonzo, but it's like obviously no, Dave Goelz would just have his hand up through the cow and Gonzo, controlling them both, but he's just doing a really good job in that moment.
Then Big Tiny literally tortures Kermit live on stage.
But yeah, Big Tiny pours red hot marbles on the stage to get Kermit to participate in a frog jumping contest.
Such a weirdly specific thing, too. Hot marbles.
Well, and he had them ready. Billy Boy just had a bucket of hot marbles ready to go.
Billy Boy has a bucket of hot marbles because you never know when Big Tiny's going to need some hot marbles.
This is his go-to. He tries to work it in. If he's got an idea of how to torture someone, he's like, well, you know what time it is, Billy Boy? Hot marble time.
And even Johnny Cash is afraid of Big Tiny Tall Saddle.
Yeah, he says Big Tiny Tall Saddle's as tough as a 25-cent steak. And then I think something that, brings the episode down a little bit for me.
Oh, I kind of liked this.
The UK spot, for some reason, is given to New Zealand this week.
I thought he handled this in a very classy way, though. He doesn't even throw a fish.
No, he's hanging out with fish instead.
Yeah.
He's performing with the Gills brothers.
And I think that the song is kind of funny. Like, if all New Zealand did was sing songs that were fish puns, I would like him a lot better, I think.
Yeah, I feel like he hasn't done as much lately to make us hate him as he did previously when he first showed up. But yeah, I don't mind this as much. It's just for me, I'm like, really? We're giving a whole musical number to New Zealand? Meh. Kind of a waste of time.
It's just for England, though.
It's also just... It is distressing in all these screenshots on Muppet Wiki to just see the Confederate flag behind New Zealand as he's performing.
Yeah.
I'm just like, ugh.
That's a good point.
Obviously, in context, still upsetting, but out of context, just like sharing
Quite
this screenshot
strange.
with somebody on Twitter and being like, hey, I love this song from the Muppet Show. And they're just like, what's going on there in the background,
That's
though?
a good point, yeah.
But thankfully, we are saved from New Zealand by a delightful number between Rolf and another cowboy, Johnny Cash.
Where it seems like someone's just arbitrarily being really mean to Rolf again.
Well, Rolf is here. He wants to perform. He didn't get to perform earlier, so he wants to perform with Johnny Cash no matter what. And Johnny tries to warn him, hey, I don't think you're going to want to do this, buddy. It turns out Johnny Cash is singing a song called Dirty Old Egg-Sucking Dog.
This is like the most Jimmy Dean that we've seen Rolf since Jimmy Dean.
Yes and no. I think we've said that a couple times in season 5, thankfully, because we've gotten some really good Rolf numbers. But yes, pairing him up with a Southern gentleman.
I think the way he gets to react to this is like if Jimmy Dean was singing the song, he'd be doing the same like, oh my gosh, covering his hands with his face, getting.
But Jimmy
mad.
Dean would have been laughing his ass off halfway through the song, not being able to finish because Rolf would have said something funny, and Jimmy can't handle that.
Yeah. But yeah, I love this. Now that you've mentioned it, it is impossible to say I love this and share it with anybody because of the giant Confederate flag in the background.
It's a bummer.
One of the best Muppet Show moments of all time.
Yeah. Like to send this to somebody and be like, well, hold on, before you watch it, let me tell you why the Confederate flag is there. Answer, I don't really know.
It was 1980, I guess?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It was 1980s country music, and they were all about the rebel stuff, so sorry. Speaking of, I'm so sorry. Wally Whoopie's here, and you have to...
This guy is fucked up. What is going on?
Wally Whoopie, to me, feels like a mix of a couple of later Muppets Tonight era Muppets.
Yeah.
He feels like a mixture of me of Bill the Bubble Guy and Mr. Poodle Pants.
I don't know who on earth you're talking about.
Oh, look up Mr. Poodle Pants, Sam.
Okay, Bill the Bubble Guy first. Oh, I remember him.
Yeah, he has bubbles coming out of his head, as
Mr.
obvious.
Poodle Pants. Oh my God. I hate this, whatever this is. He looks like New Zealand, but it's like, what could we make that's worse than New Zealand? Yeah, but Wally Whoopie looks like a man out of time. He does not belong in this version of the Muppets.
No. It seems like you could go to, the Jim Henson Company's Puppet Up stuff that's happening now, and you would see this puppet, because he just sort of feels like somebody who didn't exist in the 80s Muppets.
Yeah.
But it does give us a nice sort of weird Jim Henson performance, which is something
that's true.
We're not always privy to. But I hate him.
He's horrible as well. Oh, I wrote in my notes. I hate this guy. Worst villain in Muppet Show history. I think I meant Wally Whoopie. In addition to to have both of them in one episode, because he's so mean to poor Fozzie.
Well, and Big Tiny Tall Saddle is the one who inflicts Wally Whoopie upon us. So that does make him a worse villain by making us have to watch Wally Whoopie.
That's true. Wally Whoopie's just a weapon in Big Tiny Tall Saddle's arsenal. He's like the Joker, kind of. He kind of looks like the Joker.
So Big Tiny Tall Saddle, Werehorse, and the Joker.
Yeah.
And again, it is almost the closing of the show, but finally, Scooter has figured out a way to get rid of Big Tiny Tall Saddle. Maybe he's just had enough of Billy Boy stepping in, taking his spot on this show. If Big Tiny Tall Saddle would have offered to pay Scooter for his help, I'm sure Scooter wouldn't have...
would not have tricked him, yeah.
No. But he runs in and tells him that kids are letting the air out of his horse. So this leads to the Muppet Show getting to do what it wanted to do all along, which, to be fair, it did also get to do all along.
Pretty much exactly the same, yeah.
That was, I think, my issue with this episode, is that it's a great concept to have this country star come in, Big Tiny Tall Saddle, by the way, and take over the show and try to keep Johnny Cash from performing. But he doesn't really keep Johnny Cash from performing.
No, he likes Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't stop the other Muppet acts from performing, really. We should have seen the Whistling Bricks instead of New Zealand or something.
Yeah.
And New Zealand is maybe the part that you could have changed that would make it feel more like the Muppets weren't getting to do what they wanted.
And maybe Big Tiny Tall Saddle could have come out and started to perform another song at the same time as Johnny Cash, or try to perform it better than him to show him up and prove he's the better country singer or something. But I like it all. I like the concept. I just feel like it doesn't have as much of a payoff as the Hal Linden episode does with some of its
that's true.
chaos.
Yeah. But this little duet they sing at the end is great.
Yeah, Miss Piggy and Johnny Cash sing both Orange Blossom Special and Jackson, which apparently... this was a big deal because Johnny Cash didn't really ever sing Jackson with anyone but his wife.
His wife and Miss Piggy.
Yeah. Muppet Wiki says it's one of the only recorded occasions where he performed this song with someone other than June Carter Cash.
That's delightful.
But the episode wraps up. Big Tiny Tall Saddle comes back. Apparently his horse was actually deflated after he went and checked on it. So Scooter was not actually lying to him.
He didn't know that he wasn't lying.
Yeah, just happened to be telling the truth about this bizarre event that could be happening. And Big Tiny says he needs to borrow a bicycle pump to pump up old paint.
Then we never see him again, right?
So Big Tiny Tall Saddle we never see again. He does show up in the book Muppets Meet the Classics, The Phantom of the Opera. Which I have the two Muppets Meet the Classics books, which are The Phantom of the Opera and the... who are those guys? The guys who wrote the fairy tales.
Oh, shit. I can only think of Statler and Waldorf. The Brothers Grimm.
Yeah, those guys. I have those books, and I don't know how good they are. I know nothing about them, but they seem truly wild in that they tried to incorporate every character that's like ever existed in the Muppets world, because so many characters that you look up that have disappeared post Muppet Show, their only other reference in any other Muppet property is in one of those books.
What the hell? I can't even picture what this book would be.
Yeah, this is the story of the Phantom of the Opera, and apparently Big Tiny Tall Saddle appears as himself in that book. Whereas most of the Muppets we know and love play characters within the story of the Phantom of the Opera. So I don't really know how...
I just don't understand how a character is playing... Like, how does J.P. Gross play a character in text form? How do they explain that?
Great question.
We'll have to read. I couldn't even begin to imagine.
Yeah, there's really like surprisingly good illustrations in those books.
Yeah.
And they sound fascinating. I'm guessing they didn't do incredibly well because they came out in 2017 and I had never heard anyone talk about them. But yeah.
Mentioned but not shown. It's a book. They're all mentioned and not shown. What the hell?
I'm guessing maybe like a character mentions them, but they don't actually impact the plot in any way.
Mr. Poodle Pants is in this book. I'm going to get this book. It's going to be the first book I read in like 5 years.
Well, I don't remember which one, but one of them was surprisingly expensive.
Oh, shoot.
So I have them both if you want to borrow them, Sam.
Okay.
In his actual, puppet form, we will not see Big Tiny Tall Saddle again. And so it's time to move on before we get too sad about that thought. And it's time to discuss the Debbie Harry episode of The Muppet Show. Apparently Debbie Harry, who was possibly on The Muppet Show because Brian Henson had a big old crush on her.
Oh.
And was like, hey, Dad, please, I like this girl. Please put her
so
on the show.
So they wrote a whole episode about Robin having the same situation to make fun of him or something, maybe?
Maybe.
What'd you give this episode?
I gave this one 3 stars.
I gave this one 2.5 stars.
Yeah, it's a little lower than the previous ones for me because I don't think Debbie Harry's very good in it.
No, I don't think she really knows how to play off of the Muppets.
I just don't think she's a great actress either. I've
never seen the old Hairspray, but she is in the old Hairspray. So
I think no one in the old Hairspray is a really good actor.
Maybe that was part of the point of the old Hairspray.
It kind of is. I've seen the old Hairspray. I have it. You want to borrow that too. But it's not known for its Oscar performances.
Do you like the new Hairspray?
Yeah.
Is that allowed? I like the new one too, but I never know if people
are we not allowed to like it?
No, I never know if I'm going to say that and somebody who's like really into Hairspray is going to be like, you heathen. You know?
I think the people who are like the diehard John Waters fans of the old Hairspray.
Didn't he make both of them?
Yeah, yes. But I think there's like a split amongst the fandom of Hairspray that like they don't want their Hairspray to be the bubbly like Broadway style Hairspray. They want the old gritty.
The gritty one.
Yeah.
The nasty one.
The nasty one. And so I think there's some people who might call you out for that, but I don't know. I enjoyed it when it came out. I think I saw it in the theater.
Yeah, I just love Amanda Bynes and
she's very good in that.
And the Corny Collins part, because I love that guy. Yeah. Cyclops man.
Sonic's friend?
Sonic's friend. Yes, any friend of Sonic's a friend of mine.
We should note that we mean James Marsden.
That's who it is, yeah.
James Marsden, to me, is not only Sonic's friend, but he's also, multiple times, I feel like he's been the guy in movies who the girl falls for. There's absolutely nothing wrong with him other than he's not our main character.
Yeah.
And so we are rooting against this man who is perfectly pleasant in every way.
Perfectly nice, handsome fellow.
Yeah. He's Cyclops, who we're like, well, I don't know. This Wolverine's pretty sexy man.
He's got a lot going on.
He also is in The Notebook. He is the other guy in The Notebook who she falls for and is like going to marry and all this stuff. And it's like, well, but...
Boo, boo.
This guy's here. He built a house. Come on. And he... is also the other guy in Superman Returns.
Oh, that's like the ultimate version of that.
Yes, because
he's literally is like a very nice person, right?
And he thinks he has a kid who maybe isn't his.
Oh,
so that proves that
poor James.
Lois Lane maybe cheated on him with Superman. Sorry, James Marsden, that you're always getting the ladies stolen away from you.
Oh, yeah, especially by superheroes. He's got a wife in Sonic though, and they're doing okay.
For now,
I don't think anyone's gonna run off with Sonic.
Well, maybe not, but maybe Mr.
Eggman.
Robotnik. Yeah,
Mr. Robotnik, Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah, I guess he's a doctor. I forgot.
He didn't go to robot school just to be called Mr. Robotnik by you.
I feel like he invented his own school and gave himself a degree.
I think these are all literally jokes in that movie also.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think they are.
Well, getting back to Debbie Harry, somehow we started talking about James Marsden.
He'd be a great Muppet Show guest.
He wouldn't be too bad, yeah.
I think he'd be fun.
He's good in Enchantment.
Yeah.
Oh, same
That's
plot.
Another one, isn't it? Yeah.
God damn it. Poor James Marsden cannot catch a break.
He really can't.
Oh. What's
Let him be in love.
Yeah,
please.
what's Patrick Dempsey got that James Marsden doesn't?
I mean, in all these cases, Brandon Roth, I don't know. That would be a toss-up. I'd go for James Marsden over Wolverine. I'd go for James Marsden over whoever else you said.
Ryan Gosling in The Notebook.
Oh, that would be a tough
That'd be a
one
tough
too,
choice.
wouldn't it? Ryan Gosling seems a little more annoying than James Marsden, though. James seems like he could sit and read a book.
But what if he built you a whole house?
James could do that too.
Yeah, but he wouldn't brag about it.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Debbie Harry's here. That's going to be the longest Twitter clip I'm ever going to post because I have to post that whole James Marsden discussion. So you're not allowed to cut it out.
I won't.
But getting back to the Debbie Harry episode, yeah, I gave it 3 stars for the aforementioned things we said about Debbie Harry. I just don't think it's a super strong episode. I don't think she's a super strong guest.
It's kind of chaotic in like a not normal Muppet chaotic way. It's kind of like, what is even supposed to be happening occasionally?
Yes, I would entirely agree with that. And I think if we're ranking guests based on their excitement to be there on the Muppet Show and their commitment to it, Hal Linden and Johnny Cash, pretty high up on that list. Debbie Harry, pretty near the bottom of the list.
Kind of hard to say actually what energy she is bringing to it. I'm not sure.
But to open up the episode, as Sam mentioned earlier, the Frog Scouts are here. Robin and his friends show up unannounced to ruin his uncle's show.
Yeah, I liked these guys. I liked when Kermit was like, "Here's the opening," and they all just turned around to stand on stage and watch it.
Yeah, there's some very good puppetry there where Kermit's just like, "Come on, get out of here!"
Yeah,
like scoop. The opening number.
And I like this version of Robin too because it ties in well with the. It seems like out of left field a little bit for Robin to be annoying in the newer Muppet Show, but in the Muppets 2016 or whatever that was.
Yeah, when he's just the annoying nephew who like wants to go to laser tag.
Yeah, but that totally ties in. Like this is that Robin.
Right. He's not just the sweet Anakin Skywalker in waiting that we saw in the Hal Linden episode.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know if there's enough footage for that, but I'd love someone to like cut together some sort of
instead
menacing
of the sand speech. It's like, yeah.
I just want like a menacing Robin supercut of this idea that Robin might be the true villain of the Muppets. The opening number features one of our old friends coming back.
Wayne.
It's
Funny
Wayne.
that Wayne keeps getting to come back and Wanda has never been invited back.
Again, my idea is that Wanda doesn't know that Wayne is coming back to work on the Muppet Show. I feel like they got fired. Somehow they called up Wayne and were like, "Hey, do you want to just come back and do something?"
Need a male vocalist.
He's like, "I really shouldn't." And they're like, well, we'll pay you this much. And he's like, "I'm on my way." Or maybe Wayne and Wanda have split at this point. Who knows?
I don't think so. I think they're forever.
I guess we do see them as ghosts in Muppets Haunted Mansion, so.
We see them together in something else, too.
Yeah, they're in one of the Muppets movies.
Yeah.
In like either Muppets Most Wanted or Muppets 2011.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, they're at least back together by that point. And then dead by 2020.
Or maybe she's really supportive and she's just like, "Okay, Wayne, you can go do it."
That's true.
Not everything has to be about subterfuge against your wife, Matt.
I'm just saying maybe I was assuming Wayne wasn't that good of a guy. But he is here to sing just a few lines of For Me and My Gal, because we're going to transition this into Me and My Goyle, which is short for gargoyle. Get it? No? That's okay.
Kind of? I mean, I do get it.
Because Wayne
My
is
more
outside
question
of
is why.
yeah, Wayne is outside of Notre Dame, and so we pan up to the top of Notre Dame to see a hunchback character who is Mulch. This is the first time we are meeting Mulch, who will be surprisingly around for a while.
Yeah, another very 90s looking Muppet.
Yes, and we will talk about him a bit more later because he is our Muppet of the Week. But we get Mulch singing to a gargoyle that he is seemingly in love with, along with some gargoyles on the front of Notre Dame that are also joining in the number.
He is married to and has children with this gargoyle, sir. They mention it multiple times.
Yes, this is true. I don't want to ask too many questions about how that might happen. Are those the children on the front of it?
Yeah, that seems to be the implication, but I don't know.
Like every time they make a baby, a new gargoyle pops out the front of the Notre Dame.
Oh, gross. Okay. Move on.
I
don't wanna
picture
think
it
about
like
that.
Ace Ventura 2 when he's coming out of the rhino.
Yeah.
But it's
pretty
just
hot
that
in
with a
them rhinos.
gargoyle coming
Yeah.
out of the church.
Wow, what a great moment in movie history. I think about that literally all the time.
That took over pop culture for a long time. That's all any of us could think about was those
Yeah.
movies in general. But that moment.
That particular part, yeah.
I feel like Gen Z, on TikTok, is going to discover that moment at some point and be like, what the hell is Dr. Robotnik doing?
Mr. Robotnik, why?
Well, we'll learn a bit more about Mulch's family life later on in the Muppet of the Week segment.
What a strange character to just come out of nowhere. What are they? Why?
I don't, unfortunately, have a lot of insight into that necessarily, but it does feel like maybe they were just messing around and trying to create some new puppets.
He's just in a lot of this episode.
With seemingly no, introduction. A lot of characters get an introduction to be
Yeah.
this character's here for this reason.
Yeah. Hey, Mulch, what's up? They'd all just know him. Maybe in this universe, he's just a big Broadway star. He's a big get, you know?
It's oh, we got Mulch? Can you believe it? I do like the gargoyle puppeting, though. I feel like it looks good. For some reason, I like when they turn inanimate objects, like the front of a
Yeah.
ship or part of a building or a sphinx or something like that, into a puppet. I feel
It's
like
even better when it's really still for a long time and then start singing. I like that too.
Yeah, when you don't necessarily expect it to start singing, and it does.
But this is complete chaos, whatever this musical number is.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's very weird and hard to understand a little bit and just what on earth is going on?
We meet Miss Appleby, who is performed by Kathy Mullen as the super old frog lady, who is the scout leader.
Instantly recognized from the beginning of Muppet Christmas Carol. She's one of the old ladies singing in the beginning.
Yeah, she's singing the Scrooge number.
Yeah, I always thought she was an iguana.
But yes, this is the moment when a frog scout gets thrown across the backstage area by Animal, who, we don't see confirmation that this character dies, but
I don't think he ever gets back up, though.
I don't think so either. We don't see him pop up.
The way that they look at him and just kind of she shouldn't have gone up there, just to me felt like they know he's not getting back up.
But they move on pretty quickly because it's time for a Muppet News Flash. And Sam was talking about the chaos of this episode not making a whole lot of sense in places. Here's one for you. The newsman's here to report that famous French clothing designer David Lazor was arrested under poultry laws for designing clothes that can suddenly turn into chickens.
Then his clothes turn into chickens.
Then his clothes turn into chickens, Sam. Get it?
No, but this did feel like this kind of felt like a commercial from the 60s they would have done to me. The Muppet News Flashes seem like they were filmed in 1965, and they just have a whole bunch of them.
They just knock those out. They're I don't know, we got 10 jokes from that season 1 guy who wrote all of our weird punchlines.
Yeah.
But now it's time for Debbie Harry to sing One Way or Another. One of her hit jams. She's introduced as the queen of rock and roll.
Is Debbie Harry punk?
I think so.
I don't think she is.
I think
Blondie,
she
I don't
was-
think is. Blondie's new. I always thought they were new wave.
I think they were sort of seen as early punk, sort of proto-punk in a way.
I guess they played at CBGBs. So
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, I guess you're right.
And they were friends with all those people. So I feel
Yeah,
like they also
that's
just
true.
get lumped in, even if they weren't making the same music as the Ramones or the Sex Pistols. I feel like they get lumped in
Right.
with that.
I guess it's kind of like they opened for David Bowie and for Iggy Pop. And that's kind of they exist right in between those two people, kind of.
Right. And so I think, yeah, it's like, I think you can call them punk because of the scene they were involved in, but I also think you could very easily listen to a lot of their songs and go, that's the least punk thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. And I think those are the ones that get played on the radio a lot, are the least punk things I ever heard. Because I was watching this with Rachel, and she was like, they're almost kind of disco, aren't they? And I was like, yeah, they are kind of. Yeah,
especially, I think like you're saying, like Heart of Glass and Rapture even, like those do not sound like punk songs.
No, Heart of Glass has like a weird sensibility to it that does push it a little bit more into like the less mainstream to me, I guess, but not what I think of as punk exactly.
Yeah. But Debbie is here to either chase or be chased by Mulch. It's a little confusing.
Not really sure. She's singing a song about chasing somebody and then is just opening a bunch of doors.
Yeah, Mulch is creeping around behind the set, and I couldn't tell if she was trying to find him or if she was trying to be like, oh my God, is he behind this door? To try and avoid him. But yeah, she just keeps opening doors to see what's behind them. The scouts are also here. They're interrupting. There's a tiger, there's sharks, there's a half-naked woman in a towel. There's
I like that part.
Devils. There's a lot going on here. Again, the chaos in this episode is actual, like, true chaos and not the controlled chaos that we usually see with the Muppets.
Yeah, and she is the worst offender of mugging at the camera that we've ever seen, I think.
But I think there's a way you can do that that shows, like, I'm on a show. I'm performing for you. Whereas this just feels like, I don't know, there's a camera there. I guess I should look at it maybe?
Exactly.
There's another weird moment where Kermit turns to the camera and says, speaking of kids, whatever happened to the Frog Scouts? And they've never done something like this. Of like, I guess we need a segue to the next scene. Kermit, look at the audience and say something like this. But they are hanging out, being punks in Debbie Harry's dressing room. When their square Uncle Kermit interrupts.
I like that Debbie Harry's like in command of all of them and makes them like stand at attention. I like that part.
Well, yeah, they have to receive their punk merit badges. They have to show some respect to this queen of rock and roll.
That's also a vaguely funny joke, accepting the fact that it was written by the squarest old men of all time.
That is the thing. The punk moments we get in this episode are clearly written by some like more hippie-ish non-punk dudes.
Yeah.
When Uncle Kermit interrupts and is super uncool and tries to figure out what's going on here, what's happening to my poor nephew? He's turning into a punk. He asks what happened to Mrs. Appleby because she's supposed to be watching these kids. And Mrs. Appleby runs in and says, forget Mrs. Appleby, meet the safety pin queen.
Mrs. Appleby. You wacky old lady. You think this is where they got the name for the restaurant Applebee's?
I'm going to say no.
Oh.
Did you think I was going to say yes?
I thought you'd say maybe. Throw me a bone for once.
I mean, if you had to guess, how long has Applebee's been a restaurant?
1971.
You said that with a lot.
I have no idea. Is that right?
One, I like that you guessed so confidently, and you guessed with a date that came 10 years before this episode came out. So they couldn't possibly have even aligned with the fiction that you created.
Okay. Well, what's the right answer?
November 19th, 1980.
Whoa.
Which
Still
is
before this, but that's weird.
But it's only a few months after they filmed this.
Somebody was working on set.
There was a spy on the inside.
What are we going to name our new restaurant? All of you, go out into the world. Keep your ears open.
Hey, so there's this old frog that's going to be on the Muppet Show.
In one episode of the Muppet Show.
Her name's Miss Appleby, and she's real punk. Since we're going to be a cool punk restaurant, maybe we could be Applebee's. Wow, that is the most boring About Us page ever. They didn't even say why they call it Applebee's. Hiding the truth. Bill and TJ Palmer opened Applebee's. Their name is not Appleby.
Their name ain't Appleby.
No. We go back to Debbie Harry's dressing room, where we find out that she wants to sing a song about rainbows. That is what she
loves them.
She
loves rainbows.
Yeah, any song about them, she wants to sing. She lists out Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and I'm always chasing rainbows. And Kermit points out, hey, Debbie, you forgot one.
What a loser.
But yeah, Kermit the dork points out, hey, I made a song about rainbows. You want to sing that one instead? We can afford to do that one, Debbie. We have to pay for the rights to the other ones. And the last time we sang a Wizard of Oz thing, they didn't like us.
Yeah. In the future, they will. That episode will not be available because of that.
So instead, they do sing Rainbow Connection. It's interesting because at this time, it was not obviously as ubiquitous as it is now. Of every time we see Kermit on something, he has to sing this song. At this point, this was like, the third time someone would have heard this song.
Yeah.
Because he sang it in the movie, on the Oscars, and then here.
Right.
So yeah,
I think it was mostly just like why it was weird that they were singing it.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit like the one time when he sang Being Green, and it was just like, I'm going to walk over here and sing my song now. But yeah, I think it's, again, I just don't love Debbie Harry in this episode. But I think this performance is probably the highlight of her in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And next, it's time for Pigs in Space. And there's a hole in the ship, and they shove Piggy's face in it.
And they put Piggy's face in it. How did the pepper get in her nose through the hole in the ship? That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
Also, they've walked through the door that wall is attached to. That ain't the outside of the ship.
No. And it also, presumably would have killed Piggy and Link if they had shoved their faces out into
their guts would have
vacuum
got
of
pulled out of
space.
their noses. That's all. Yeah. And then Link is like really hurt after it. But it's like, what is the fiction of Pigs in Space? Are they really in space? What is going on here?
I mean, if they can really be a pirate ship, maybe they can really be a spaceship.
Did they really built a vacuum outside of this? Like they rented a vacuum chamber?
I feel like Strangeport could make that happen. Him and Bunsen could work together to create a vacuum.
Yeah, there's just too many layers of what is happening on this Pigs in Space.
Then backstage, after we find out Link has been severely injured and repaired, kind of, by the Frog Scouts, we see Gonzo is here, and unfortunately, Kermit has to cancel his wrestling match with Quango the Wild Mountain Gorilla because Quango just called from his limo, and he's stuck in traffic. So instead of Gonzo wrestling...
That's their ship name, Gongo.
Yeah, if only we would have gotten to see them wrestle. So instead of seeing Gonzo and Quango wrestle it out, we are forced to watch the Frog Scouts do a march.
Yeah. Which in effect is just a bunch of puppeteers going up and down with puppets for too long.
To be fair, that's the whole show.
I know, but this one is even more so.
Yeah, and they're just doing like a drill team, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's kind of all it is. And it's a bummer that is like what they substituted in because it does go on so long.
They should have sang like a cute little Scouts song or something. Or like a little campfire tune or something like that.
Yeah. A camp song would have been much cuter. And the closing number in this episode is Call Me, one of the other famous Blondie songs. And Debbie Harry is here to perform on a stage and in a setting that felt to me like MTV before MTV.
Yeah.
This looked like an early sort of MTV music video before that was a thing. But yeah, overall, again, performance was fine.
Pretty straightforward. But
that is all of the Muppet Show we watched this week, so that must mean it's time for our Muppet of the Week. This week's Muppet of the Week is Mulch, the Frankenstein's monster-looking Muppet who, according to the character encyclopedia, grew up in Boontoon, New Jersey.
Boontoon?
Boontoon.
Is that a real place?
It is real. Boonton.
That makes more sense than Boontoon.
Yeah, maybe that's what it said. Maybe I just added an O. It's only got a population of 8,000, though, so, A
monster would really stick out like a sore thumb there, a big Frankenstein.
According to the character encyclopedia, he also apparently made several appearances in monster movies and worked as a barista for a short period of time, but eventually found steady work as Dr. Phil Van Neuter's assistant, which is...
Completely ignoring the fact that he was on The Muppet Show way before that.
A little bit. I think maybe they were just counting that amongst his acting roles that he took on.
Sure.
But this episode was his debut episode where he's singing For Me and My Gargoyle in the Debbie Harry episode. And he'll be around, surprisingly, forever, most recently appearing in Muppet's Haunted Mansion. And although he'll be around forever, he won't be around consistently because he tends to pop up about once every 10 to 15 years. It's like they forget that they have this puppet, and then they're like, oh, yeah, that guy.
That's a big, cool Frankenstein puppet.
Because he'll show up once again in The Muppets Go to the Movies, which we have coming up pretty soon. But after that, not again until Muppets Tonight in 1996. And then, not again until Muppets Wizard of Oz in 2005. And then, not again until Muppets Haunted Mansion in 2021. So, even though he's in Muppets Tonight a lot, we'll see him more in that. He really just goes a really long time without showing up. And there's not a ton to say about Mulch, but I will let you know that in these early versions, he is performed by Jerry Nelson. But eventually it will be performed by Kevin Clash, the man behind Elmo in the Muppets Tonight era. And I'm not sure who has performed him at other times. I know he's been, used in other things where neither Jerry Nelson or Kevin Clash were necessarily working on those things. So I'm not sure, for instance, who performed him in Muppets Haunted Mansion. That credit wasn't on Muppet Wiki. So I don't know.
Weird.
We also learn later on in Muppets Tonight that he is not just working for, but it's also related to Dr. Phil Van Neuter because Dr. Phil Van Neuter is married to Mulch's sister, Composta Heap. So yeah, they are in-laws. So he's working with his brother-in-law. And the only other last little interesting fact about Mulch that I've got for you today is that he was designed and built by Jim's old friend Bob Payne, the guy who helped Jim out on the old Sam and Friends days.
Did he also build the comedian guy from the country music sketch? Because they have a very similar color palette, at least.
It actually doesn't say on Muppet Wiki who designed or built Wally Whoopie, but yeah, I'd be curious, how many puppets around this time maybe Bob Payne was brought in to help design and create, because it definitely has a different look to Mulch as opposed to some of these other ones.
Right.
But he also, we recently talked about him. He built the original Telemonster. So.
Right. Okay. I couldn't remember. Yeah. Okay. That's it. He's got a range.
Apparently, there are some more Bob Payne puppets coming up in the Muppet Show in the Senior Wences episode of the Muppet Show, which is, a tribute to puppetry. So he helped design some puppets for that puppetry-themed episode. But yeah, apparently the design credits for him on Muppet Wiki are the Palace Guard's helmet on Tales of Tinker D, Telemonster, and then Mulch and the other puppets in that puppet episode of the Muppet Show. So he's really inconsistently used.
Wild.
But some lasting impressions. He made Mulch, he made Telemonster, and he made the Palace Guard's helmet that would later be used for Super Grover.
Yeah.
Bob Payne, I know he was interviewed for the Sam and Friends book that is now available for pre-order by Craig Shemin. That's coming out. And so I'm interested to learn more about Bob Payne in that book. But that is it about Mulch. Sam, what are you going to rate Mulch?
This seems like one I'll have to revisit after Muppets Tonight because I have no memory of that show at all, basically.
I have a memory of this puppet. I can picture him. He looks like a 90s Muppet to me, which is why it was weirder for me that he popped up in 1981.
Right.
But yeah, also don't remember anything he does on that series.
I'm going to give him a 6 because I think he looks cool, but I don't know him. I don't know him well enough yet.
Okay. You're making me rethink my numbers a little bit now. I was going to go a little bit lower, but
he looks cool though. I like his fingernails.
You know what? I was going to go lower, but I'm going to go with 5 for now.
We can always revisit later.
We might have to revisit it later, but I'm going to give him a 5. So, Sam, did you have time to enjoy any non-Muppety things this week?
Yeah, I've been watching She-Hulk. Did you watch She-Hulk?
I haven't yet. I want to.
I like it. I think it's pretty good.
Which is, coming from you, shocking.
Why?
That you like a Marvel TV show.
Oh, I liked Miss Marvel a lot.
Okay.
I didn't like a lot of the other one. I like Loki just fine. But I think it feels more like a real show than a lot of the other shows. each episode has more of an arc to it so far. At least there's only 2, but they both have more of like a beginning, middle, and end than some of the other ones do, whereas it feels more like a movie. They're also kind of short, which I think is helpful because there's just like some of the Marvel TV shows are a little bloated, but and I love Tatiana Maslany. I think she's great. So that, and what else? I saw the Marcel the Shell with Shoes On movie.
Yeah.
It was good. It made me cry.
Oh.
It's a sweet little movie. It's exactly what you would I think it would be, I think, but in a good way. Yeah, I've been watching baseball, which is weird. Me and Rachel started watching baseball. So that's what we have on a lot. Instead, we used to have Star Trek Next Generation on in the background. Now we have baseball. So I'm slowly learning about that. But that's pretty much it. That's my life right now.
That weirdly aligns with my life recently. I woke up early this morning to watch an F1 race.
Formula One. Everybody's watching Formula One these days.
It's, I think, purely the fault of the Netflix documentary because that series is just really, really good, and it makes you care about these drivers and the teams and the sport of it. And so I watched my first F1 race this morning. Watched the whole thing. The whole
How was
hour.
it?
It was fun. It was good. You know, it was like an hour and 40 minutes. Just had my coffee this morning and watched some racing.
Did anything cool happen?
There was some crashes, a little bit of crashes in the first lap, which was exciting. And then the rest of the race was kind of like just, you know, not anything too exciting. But like,
did your guy win?
I don't really have a guy yet. So that's the thing is
you're
like
still
watching
picking
this.
your guy.
Yeah, it's hard because they show a lot of the behind the scenes on the Formula One Drive to Survive show. And so you learn a lot about the drivers, but also their team owners and their team principals and all this stuff. And there's always like one person on the team that I'm like, I don't like that guy. So it's hard for me to like.
That seems like it'd be pretty common in Formula One.
Yeah, and there's some.
There'd be a douchebag.
There's definitely some douchebags at some ranking in the order, and so it's hard for me to pick a team where I'm like, I can fully support these group of people. And the only ones I've been wanting to support is Mercedes, which is sort of like picking the Patriots or Tom Brady, where it's like, of course you pick them. They win everything. But so far, I'm sort of team Mercedes. But I also...
Well, I mean, we're watching the Dodgers, and they win everything. But Rachel's from LA, so we get a pass, you know?
Yeah, I'm not from Germany. So. But I also, since we last recorded, watched Prey.
Oh, yeah.
Did you watch Prey?
I'm saving it for Halloween.
Oh, it's so good, Sam. I want to talk to you about it, but I can't because you haven't watched it.
When I watch it, I'll say on this show that I watched it. All right. We can talk about it. I like that actor a lot. The one who was in Legion, the main person, the main lady in that movie. Yeah. So I'm excited to see it.
No, it's a good time. It's too short. I don't say that about a lot of movies, but when it was over, I was like, I would easily watch another 40 minutes of that.
Yeah, it's such a cool idea, and it seems like just make another Predator in cowboy times or something like that. Just keep going through the timeline.
I'd be fine with that. Instead of like making the same Predator movie 10 times like they've tried to do.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that more when you get a chance to watch it.
I'm very excited for that one. I got a big list of movies I'm saving. Well, not a big list. That and the new Halloween movie, which isn't even out yet. But I can't watch. And Black Phone, I'm excited about that one too. A lot of stuff I can't watch until it's more scary outside, though.
Well, Hocus Pocus 2 is coming out soon, Sam. So
there's been a trailer for that, right? Like a teaser?
It looks okay.
I love Kathy Najimy, so I'm willing to give her a chance no matter what.
I'll watch it, but...
Oh, absolutely. I love that movie.
All right, well, before we go, we should probably let people know what we're watching next time. Next week, we're watching more of The Muppet Show, Season 5. And we'll be watching the episodes that aired in New York between February 28th, 1981 and May 2nd, 1981. There's some gaps in there.
How many episodes we got left? How many episodes of the podcast do we have left of The Muppet Show?
3 after this one that we are currently recording.
Wow, okay.
So next week, we will be discussing the episodes featuring Gene Kelly, Paul Simon, and Gladys Knight.
They're getting all the big stars for this last season.
Gotta go out on top. And speaking of going out on top, let's get the hell out of here because we need to thank our friend Tuna for making the music for this podcast and Cassie Wilson for singing our theme song. Head on over to commitment.com to listen to this podcast. or to pick up an enamel pin, or to check out our Patreon page. And you can email us at mail@commitment.com if you've got anything you want to say to us that's too long for a tweet. But if you got some short stuff to say to us, find us on Twitter at CommitmentPod, or find me on the internet at Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz.
And as always, keep believing.
Keep pretending.